Hey everyone, it's Mickey. This is actually the end of day 22, but it's officially a day 21 and week 3 recap. So last video, I'd been up for about 40 hours following the schedule, and I stayed up for another 8 hours until my 8 AM nap, and at that stage I slept for 7 hours. So I crashed out. I don't remember what happened. I don't remember turning the alarm off. When I woke up I was very relaxed and stayed in bed for about half an hour just lying there, and the difference between before and after that was quite noticeable with my physical body. Beforehand I was sort of holding on, almost like stay awake, but when I woke up after the 7-hour nap I just laid there, and that's what I miss. I've mentioned in some other videos, just being able to lie there when you wake up and just breathe and relax for 20-30 minutes. But I got up and went to the toilet, and it's a head thing that's sort of like almost like a headscarf slash beanie slash condom thing that I put on my head. That was on the floor next to the toilet. I don't know how that got there, and as I said, I don't know what happened with the alarm. But anyway, I stayed up I didn't take the next couple of naps. I ended up going, my next nap was at midnight, which was the last sort of day for week 3. At this stage I'm hesitant about how I'm going to proceed, that is whether I'm going to continue or not, just because of the issue with my physical body not getting the rest in between naps that I think it needs, in terms of I can't lie down and just rest because I'll probably fall asleep. The Kung Fu that I'm training sort of deals with subtle relaxation, and being up for so long like that is sort of counterproductive. On the other hand, I remember Aya on YouTube, she adapted for about 5 months or 7 months or something, and she was saying how your body will resist any way it can. It will come up with guerrilla tactics to try and convince you to go back and just take a long nap, but she said you have to resist the temptation. So maybe that sort of hanging on is a form of that, and maybe I can be more vigilant about what I do in between the naps. I have been spending quite a lot of time writing on the computer and researching some stuff on the internet, and just because you have these 3-4 hour intervals, sometimes like I enjoy walking, and I think that's good for my body because I can just go out and drop everything and to breathe and walk. But often because of these 3-4 hour intervals, if I'm doing something on the computer, I'll think I'll go for a walk after my next nap, and that sort of attitude. And again, this touches on something I've heard from other polyphasic adapters, saying how when you start the adaptation, it really magnifies any habits slash flaws slash tendencies in terms of what you might be doing. It becomes very evident any sort of things that maybe aren't that productive or resourceful. And maybe it's a learning tool, so maybe I should keep going with it and really try and be vigilant about what I do. Schedule a bit of time on the computer, go and lie down. I can do stuff like the Egoscue method. That's EGOSCUE. One of a couple of those exercises, lying on your back with your calves up on some sort of chair, so they're parallel with the ground, and just laying your arms out on the ground, and you can just sort of let your body relax on the ground. And then there's some cat stretches you can do from Pilates. There's lots of things you can do, whatever someone sort of has a particular bent for. But if I'm complacent, I was going to say, if I'm complacent, that can backfire. You've got to do it between every nap. I think have some sort of variety, not just sort of doing one thing the whole time. Now, in the next couple of days, I'm going to Australia for a couple of weeks to visit my parents. As I said, I'm hesitant about how I'm going to approach it. At this stage, I'm going to keep persisting with the 20 minute naps every 4 hours. And I see this next 3 weeks as when I go back home in sort of familiar setting. There's sort of 3 possible outcomes that could happen. One, I could just go back to monophasic sleeping, and just because I'm in familiar surroundings, and 2, I could continue with what I've been doing in terms of most days having some sort of 2, 3, 4 hour core nap, and then trying to stick to the 20 hour naps every 4 hours. And the third option is maybe I actually adapt or make a lot more progress in terms of adapting, just because it'll be quieter there. I won't have to be quieter just because I'm in sort of this matchbox apartment here, so when I'm feeling tired I won't have to worry about waking people up. I can just play guitar, play music, or play CDs loud, whatever. I'll have a lot more options, I think. So that's a possibility. Having said that, I'm not sort of keeping my hopes up, but that's just what might happen. Yeah, so that's about it. I do feel like I've made progress. I was reading on a blog earlier that this person wasn't recommending going to the Uberman sleep schedule straight away, and that's the 20-minute nap every 4 hours. So it's like 2 hours of sleep every 24 hours. They recommended going to the Everyman, so you just go cut down your core sleep to about 3 or 4 hours, and then have 2 or 3 little naps with the remainder of the day. And they were saying just sort of do that to start with, and then move on to the Uberman, the super sleep. Even though I've had the intent to go to the Uberman straight away, I've essentially gone to a sort of bastardised version of Everyman. So maybe this next couple of weeks will be a transition. Sort of, I've gotten used to these smaller naps, smaller core sleeps, and now I can go to sort of trying to eradicate them completely. As you can see, my pronunciation isn't as good as it could be. Maybe it's just because I'm trying to be quiet and I'm a little bit tired. But anyway, maybe, yeah, as I was saying, I think I've made progress in the last 3 weeks in terms of being able to keep going longer with the naps, and I've started to learn how my state is, or how my thought process is before a nap, and so I think I can tell now whether I'm going to oversleep or not just before the nap. For example, my last oversleep, I was tired and I was just thinking about, I actually went to the nap 5 minutes earlier, which is a thing I've done a couple of times, and each time I've gone earlier because I'm tired, that's when I've overslept. When I don't oversleep, even when I'm sort of feeling fatigued, it's when I'm really focused on something that I'm doing, that I'm going to do after I wake up. Often it's something where I'm actually getting up and going out of the apartment. So in that respect, I think I've sort of worked out how my mind operates and how my mind will operate from a certain mindset. So maybe I'll be a little bit more aware and vigilant about not oversleeping. So I think that's obviously the key, is not oversleeping, getting to sleep. If you don't sleep for a nap, next nap you'll be tired and you will sleep. So you just got to lie down and give your body the chance to sleep. The real thing is oversleeping, that kills you, or kills your chance at adapting. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. I won't be posting videos. I'm going to give myself a break. Not regular ones anyway. I might post 1, maybe 2. But I really want to give my adaptation mind solitude, so I'm not always talking about what I'm doing. And next time you see me, I'll either be on the way to fully adapting, or I'll be much the same as I am now, or I'll just be sleeping like normal. So anyway, that's it.